Hey everybody, my name is Sharon Quinn and I'm also known as the original runway diva, and you are watching Model Behavior. Today my guest lecturer is fashion industry trailblazer, stylist, and show producer Tai Chunn. Welcome to Model Behavior Time.
Thank you, Sharon. How are you today?
I'm well. I'm feeling a little better. I
little
wasn't
better.
feeling good earlier. But let's get, we teach here, so let's get right into it. Now, you have a fashion production company called MVC Productions. You've had that for 18 years, right?
It's been over 18 years now. It's MVC Management Production. We produce a lot of stuff and we manage a lot of talent as well. Up and coming stylists, makeup artists, writers, producers, singers. I have an MMA fighter, all of that.
A MMA fighter?
His name is Joey Slash. He's the bomb.
Okay. So now, how did you get started with the production company? Now, you didn't start doing this way, right? What did you start out as?
I started out in production, actually. First show I did was in with Bimpton Entertainment at the South Oxford Tennis Club.
Ooh.
I produced their
Hold
show.
up. You just took it way back.
Yes,
I
I
did
did.
my first fashion show at the South Oxford Tennis Club back in.
Exactly.
So what did you do for?
I produced, because you remember he had ABC and Boys to Men and all of his up and coming acts. Excuse me. And I produced their first show. To showcase all of his new talent.
Now, what did that entail
for Andre
as far
Harrell
as
and all the other
producing?
guys?
You put the whole thing together.
The entire show together.
And how long did you do that before you realized that you wanted to start your own production company?
I always knew that I would be producing on my own. It just was a matter of getting the confidence to step out on faith and do it on my own.
That's scary.
It's a very scary thing to do. I've been responsible for a lot of people's careers and a lot of industry people, whether it be in fashion, music, and entertainment at large. And so it was a matter of stepping out on faith and trusting that I can do this on my own and figuring out how to get the capital. You know what I mean? And
let's talk about that.
Exactly, and getting the corporate sponsorships to follow behind me. And then it was about branding myself, because then I had to learn how to take every moment that I've done, because like when you're working in production, you're not necessarily thinking about branding. You're not thinking about photographs. You're not thinking about video footage. You're not thinking about all of these things. You're not thinking about write-ups and doing interviews and doing the red carpets at the events that you're at to make sure that people know who you are. You're just the name in the marquee or in the program, and you don't think about those things. And those things are important when you're ready to move to the next level.
So you should be doing them all along.
All along, yes. You have to do it simultaneously. And I learned that the hard way, because I have so many credits underneath my belt that are written, but I don't have the physical. I don't have the photographs to talk about it, or the videography to talk about it, and all of those things. And having those agreements when I step into a room, when you guys are videotaping, part of my contract now states that every video I get final say on final copies and cuts, and I get a copy of it. Every interview that goes out, I have to be able to review it, and all of those kinds of things and stuff like that, making sure that my brand is being represented properly.
Now, when you started when you stepped out on faith and you started to do it, did everything sort of fall into place naturally? Did you have some missteps?
Oh, baby. I wish it did fall into place like Cinderella. Somebody came, the prince came and brought me my glass slipper. I wish. I had to battle, and I had to fight and kick down doors, because as well as I know, because I've known you for a long time and you've been in the industry forever. You know that you have to make your mark, and you have to fight for what you want on all levels, and you have to be about your business. And if you are not taught to be business oriented from a young age, and how to be entrepreneurial in spirit, and it's hard to be able to navigate through the red tape and the clicks and all of that kind of stuff that are in all of the industries, whether it be music, fashion, or whatever, and stuff like that, and how to get in those rooms and how to stay in those rooms and how to keep your voice in those rooms and stuff like that. So it was a hard hard times. You know
Now,
what I
that's
mean?
a good point you brought up. How not only how to get in those rooms, but how to stay in them. How does one do that?
The one does that by one. I always tell my interns and my staff and stuff like that. You can never come to the table negotiating from a position of fear, of being less than or whatever. You always come in as a strong person. You always come in with confidence, because if you're in the room, even if it's for a job, to be interviewed, they called you in because they want you.
Absolutely.
So you have to believe in the goods that you have and what you have to offer, and you set the standard and you set the pace, and you make them catch up and you make them keep up with you. If people are always chasing you, they can't shut you down.
I like that. I like that. Y'all better listen and learn, okay? Now, Sabrina told me that she had spoken, well, she went through your bio. She told me that you like to, a passion of yours is searching for new talent.
Oh my God, it's my everyday get high. It's my everyday vice. I'm on the train, I'm on a plane, I'm in the studio, anywhere and everywhere I'm going. I'm always constantly looking at people, getting into people, saying, oh my God, this person will have a great look, this person has great style, this person, or I hear someone speak, and I'm always in search of the new, because I always want to be, like I said, a step ahead. I want people to be chasing me. You know what I'm saying? I want people to be following what I'm doing. So when Black Enterprise called me a fashion trailblazer, it made me proud, because that's the title they came up with. You know, in my day, they were like fashion guru and and all of this crazy.
So trailblazer,
trailblazer was like, wow, because when they did the story on me, it was supposed to just be a story about the Mercedes-Benz shows and how I broke through the glass ceiling and was
We'll talk about that in
you
a
know,
minute,
whatever.
too.
And such and such, it didn't end up being a feature because they got into all of the things that I did and all of the levels in which I broke into different industries and stuff like that. So it's that I love that trailblazer. You have to always set a trend and have people following you.
And not everybody can get that title. You
Not
have to
everybody.
trailblazing is what it means. You have to
Exactly.
blaze a path
That's
for
right.
others to follow. And
That's right.
oftentimes, the trailblazers don't really get all the recognition that
That
they
they're supposed to.
should.
That's
So
right.
congratulations on
Thank
your
you.
award. And that was a cute little party you had. You made me put on shoes.
I know, I
don't
remember.
really do that for people, but I did it for you.
I remember you came. You said, I got on shoes and you want me to walk upstairs? I said, I will walk you up. I'll walk with you. Come on.
Now, how does talent, how do they catch how do they catch your eyes?
The thing about me, and I'm gonna say this about 1 million times when I talk to people, my mind is like a movie screen, and it plays things to me, and I see it from the beginning to the end. So from the intro to the very end of the relationship and our time, and that's how I know when to let go of things, because I see it from the beginning. So if you come into for instance, you're a designer, you come in from swatches to the runway to the department stores, and then licensing. And if after licensing I don't see anything more, then that's the end of the relationship. And when I look at people, I get that feeling for those people, and I know exactly what it is that I need to do for them, how it needs to be done, and how to move and make that happen. I call it my Eve's by You. You know how when she used to touch, Deborah, the actress, when she would touch you and she could see your life and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like that with me. When I look at somebody who I find to be interesting and talented, I do that, and then after that vision, I dream about them the next day, and I'm like, I call them up and I'm like, let's do this, and I set forth a plan, and we move forward with it.
That is fascinating. Okay.
And it truly happens.
That is fascinating. And you said that you can this way you know when it's time, when you've done all you
when it's one that I can do, as far as I can take them.
And it's time for them to
And
go
it's
on
time for them to go
something else.
on. When I no longer can dream for you and dream bigger than you, then we've met our crossroads.
Does it happen a lot?
It happens all too often. Sometimes sooner than I'd like, because the nurturing part of me wants to continue, and I want to keep blessing and keep giving and keep going and stuff like that. But the pragmatic part stops because my vision stopped. So that means the productivity stops. So that means that there's nothing more for me to give. And it comes from different things. Either the person is not receiving properly, or there's other entities that have entered our relationship that pulls them in different directions, and now the fight is no longer necessary, or I'm not willing to go in, to fight anymore. So I shut down. You know what I'm saying? I will shut down. And that's the worst thing for a creative person like me, to be in a position where there's no vision, because I'm always looking.
Ooh, what sign are you?
Aquarius.
God, see, I'm a Pisces, and that's our thing right there. What you just said, that whole visions and seeing people in ways that they don't even see themselves. So, what's your birthday?
February 13th.
Oh, because I'm the 19th. Now, tell me about what are the criteria for someone having the it factor. Everybody wants to do this, but not everybody is meant to be a star or be whatever it is that they're trying to be. How do you spot that?
The it factor it's such a strange thing. It can be in a look that someone has, and not a look as in your physical appearance, a look as in, one of those kind of looks, like being able to look at somebody and stop them dead in your tracks, like, you know what I mean? And it can be a walk and a swagger that somebody has, and you're like, I can make that person a star. They have that it. Let's find out what their talent is. If it's a speaking, if they can sing, if they can rap, well, let's get them with some rap artists and get them nurturing and all of that kind of stuff. It's a swagger. It's this undeniable inner energy that just snatches you and grabs you.
It's more than self-confidence.
It's way more than
your energy
self-confidence, because you can be on Wall Street and have self-confidence, but that's all you'll ever do is work on Wall Street. But when you have this inner energy that just pulls at the heartstrings of people, and it makes people want to root for you or want to hate you, or both at the same time, simultaneously. It's that factor that's inside of you that get people to react to you. That's the it factor. It's not the confidence. The confidence comes once you have to do what it is that you have to do. But in order to get there, you have to have that. You know what I'm saying? Something that makes people wow and want to. So it's that energy inside.
And that's not something you can
it's
learn.
Not something you can
have
learn.
To come here
and that's
with
why they
that.
call it. It's it. You have to have it.
And I think that's a big misconception.
People think you can learn it.
You have to come here. You're born with that. You can't learn that.
That's right.
Now tell me, you did New York. You mentioned Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. What did you do with Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week?
Well, all along that, I invited you and Gwen and all of you guys, and down to the New York Fashion Week shows that I did, and I worked with Audrey Smalls.
Yeah, that's my girl. Trying to get you on the show, Audrey.
I worked with Ground Crew, and it laid the foundation for where I wanted to be, because I was already producing my 80s rock shows and all the shows I was doing during New York Fashion Week, but working with her and behind those curtains at Bryant Park with Oscar De La Renta, with Vera Wang, with Donna Karan, with Tommy Hilfiger, with all of these designers, it laid that foundation for where I wanted to set my sights next, because it went from Biv 10 Entertainment doing that to finding my own acts to produce, my own designers to produce and all of that, to wanting to be under that Mercedes-Benz umbrella. And I wanted to produce my way, and I wanted my people there. You hear, and I don't want to call out people's names, but when you hear a lot of models, supermodels, and people talking about we're not there, and you don't see us on the runway, and you don't see us here, and you don't see us there, but you don't see people do anything about it. So I decided I was going to do something about it. So I found a designer from Oslo, Norway. Now, there was no Norwegian and Scandinavian designers in the U.S. market as of such, and I marketed her to them, and I sold the whole Tai Chunn brand before I even met with anybody at IMG Fashion, and I got L'Oreal they were coming out with a new product with Dark and Lovely, so I got them to loan Dark and Lovely to do the hair. I got Kim Roxy from Lamique Beauty to do the makeup. I got Monique Tatum from Beautiful Planning PR to do the PR, and myself and my production company. So now here we have this white designer from Oslo, Norway, and a completely all-black production team. And within that, L'Oreal bought into it and said, if you can get us at least 60% black models, we'll pay for the show.
Really?
And we let All Natural be the lead of all of the stuff that we did, and boom.
It couldn't have been too hard to get 60% black models, because we hungry.
You'd be surprised how hard it was to get industry standard models.
There you go.
Because it's a difference, and I tell my sisters all the time, stop looking at the ballroom tapes and stop looking at this and worrying about that, because it's a skill set that you have to be able to turn on and off. You know what I mean? At the drop of a dime to be industry standard.
And let's talk about that for a minute, because I'm telling you, they don't know.
They don't know.
This is how the show came about. What is industry? When you say industry standard, what is it that you mean?
When you say industry standard is you have to have your walk has to be precise and regular and normal. You lift from your knees. You don't sway from your waist. You know what I'm saying? And we have a tendency to sway with it and rock with it and lean with it. And you lift from your knees and you trot like. You know what I'm saying?
That's that pony strut.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And you also have to take care of your skin, take care of your body. You don't come in chewing gum. You don't come in wearing braids. You come in natural white T-shirt, wife beater, some pair of jeans, anything. You know what I'm saying? You have to set yourself up to be looked at as a blank canvas, to whereas someone can make you into whatever they want.
You know what? I'm glad you said that, because I think that that's another misconception, and I think that they don't understand that. It's not about you.
It's not about you.
It's about the clothing. So you don't want to do stuff on the runway that's going to distract from the clothing. And I had my brother Leonard Davis on here, and he talked about the differences between shows for what do you call it? Like Ebony Fashion Fair.
Fashion Fair, right.
For, oh, I can't think. I'm having my senior moments.
Rip the Runway, Ebony Fashion Fair.
Those are not industry shows. Those are entertainment. That's what I'm looking for. So there's a difference, and you can't go into a major casting with your entertainment.
With your entertainment walk, like the girls. It's so funny. Like this girl, she came into one of the castings and she said, well, this is my signature walk. And I was like, your signature walk? I said, well, where have you walked?
Ooh. Okay.
Like that you have a signature walk. Naomi Campbell has a signature walk. Now, until you have booked $10,000, $50,000, and $100,000 to get on somebody's runway, you don't have no signature walk. You walk the way each show tells you to walk.
There you go.
That's why you have to be industry standard. You have to be able to be trainable. You can't come in with your energy, attitude, and all of that. You have to come in and be able to be good. Jessica White was on Diane von Furstenberg's show, and the most valuable information she gave to one of the black girls on there is she told her, I had to learn to shrink this energy that I have in order for people to see me, in order for people to respect me. And when I did that, I started getting booked everywhere. So if you want to win this competition, get rid of that. That girl got rid of that, and she won the competition.
See, and that is I don't know what that is with my sisters. I'm not going to talk about any other nationalities. Exactly. This is what I know. But you said the word you just used was you have to be trainable.
Trainable.
And that means you got to dispense with everything you learned and consider this, even look at it as you adding something new to your bag of tricks. And I think that so many girls would be more successful, straight size, plus size, no matter what, if you just come willing to learn. You have to be a sponge at all times. And I think that so many people are stuck on signature looks, signature walks, signature everything, that they forget all about that. And this is how you lose the job. Yeah. When I cast for Full Figure Fashion Week, I see so many girls come in, not only with an attitude, but some of them came with zero attitude at all. So they would just, that's all that I would stop them. I'm like, you want the job? You need to show me something, okay? And it's a fine line.
It's a fine line.
You know, I'm glad that you are on and saying that, because so many of them get it wrong. Lord have mercy, they get it wrong.
So going back to the point, it was very difficult to find that. Then it's the look. first you have to get them past that. Then it's the look. Then you have to find the girls who have the hair, who have the weave, who has the natural, who have the this. And it's like, it's just that whole spectrum, unfortunately, when it comes to women of color, that especially black women, that, the standard of beauties are different in certain circles. So the light-skinned girls, you had to have a certain look or whatever. The dark girls, unfortunately, they didn't want them with all of this long hair. They wanted them to be natural or short-haired or whatever and stuff like that. And it's those things. And you have to be willing to do that for the job.
If you want to make money,
exactly, and do that for the job because trust the professionals that they know what they're doing. They've been doing it for a long time. Trust in it. So it was very difficult. The process was grueling finding the right girls, but we got them. And the show was amazing, and they looped it at Lincoln Center, and everybody from IMG Fashion came running over there to this little black boy from Brooklyn who nobody thought could do it with the little Asian name, Tai Chunn, and they looked at me like, this boy really did it, and got tons of writers.
Did that open up a door?
Oh, it was, and the craziest is, at the time that I was doing this, like I said, and this is about having a vision and keeping people chasing you, Harper's Bazaar magazine did an article on Scandinavia and how it was the next find in the arts and they only lacking in fashion. And here I am bringing in a Scandinavian designer into the world.
Now, how did you know to find that designer?
It came to me. It came to me, and I literally went through 16 top designers in Scandinavia, and ended up with Nina Skara, and showcased her and debuted her. And this is unheard of. She didn't have a store or a magazine in the U.S. market. And the package that I put together, IMG and Mercedes-Benz snatched it up and took her and took us.
Now, would that be divulging a trade secret if you broke down the package, the way
No.
how you put together a package
No.
like that?
What I did was everything that she did, like she dressed the Princess of Norway, and she's dressed celebrities in her country and all of that. So what I did was I used her strengths and I added it to what I do and what I've done, and packaged it together so that it gave a history of her and then a U.S. history as well. So it sold as a complete package, you know what I'm saying? So they knew she was marketable in New York, because here it is that I have all of these designers that I've gotten into: Neiman Marcus, Saks, Henry Bendel's when they used to do clothes, Takashimaya when it was there, you know what I'm saying? And all of these stores, and having relationships with Stephanie Solomon at Bloomingdale's, and Jerry Fagan, and and knowing people at Showroom 7, and being cool with Kelly Catrona at People's Revolution, my first designer ever, getting 6 months free in her showroom.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I schlepped up in there with those Gail McGlynn garments and was like, boom, and she's like, whatever. And, getting Kate Hudson for her show, for her movie, movie premiere in New York, to wear that designer on the red carpet for Les Divorce. And this is my first designer out the park. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I talk about the visions that come, and I know where to go with it. Because when I walked into Kelly's office, I didn't have an appointment with Kelly Catrona. And she said, you better wow me. And I left there with 6 months free instead of having to pay. And it cost the arm and a leg to be in the showroom.
Wow.
So I used all of that history in my packaging with her stuff to sell to the Mercedes-Benz people. And they're like, we have to have this.
Now, are you still working with Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week? Or?
Well, no, because unfortunately, IMG Fashion and Mercedes-Benz have split ways. Like they did a few years ago. Remember, it was Olympus Fashion Week for like 2 seasons or so. Well, Mercedes-Benz is leaving. And my time is done there. I've done what I had to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now it's time for me to pass that information and that torch on to others. Will I go back to help others get there? Of course. Will I produce on my own again at that level, at that intensity? No. I would be in a consultant position at this point because I've done what I was supposed to do and I've made the history. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Saying as the first black production company to do it. And people always say, well, Audrey Smalls was the first in Ground Crew. And I say Audrey Smalls opened up the door for me to be able to produce, because Audrey Smalls brought in backstage people, but there was no full production from hair, makeup, designer, all of that. And that's what I did with what Audrey Smalls gave me.
Okay. This is such a good interview. You got so much knowledge. We're almost out of time. So I want you to, I know you got a film that you're working on.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Call Me. Okay, so Call Me is a TV show who Tracy Moore is doing the casting. Love Tracy Moore. Call Me is a television show, and it's a scripted drama as well as a big screen as well as a play. And it came to me from being a little boy. I had this fascination with male escorts, high-priced male escorts.
Okay.
If you will, and it fueled my energies. Got fueled watching Gigolo, American Gigolo, with Richard Gere.
Yeah.
And that story lived in me for so long. And I created all of these characters in myself saying I would do this and I would do that. And I told my mom, I was like, I'm gonna have, all of these women and all of this and all of that and make all of this money and everything, not knowing what it was. I'm like 6, 7, 8 years old or whatever, thinking that that's a fabulous way to live. You just have a bunch of women and you're just getting money, not knowing what it really meant. And fast forward into my teenage years, running my classmates, Michelina Garcia and Denise Rodriguez, and we're sitting in class and they're counting all of this money with rubber bands, and I'm like, well, where did I get this money from? And then fast forward into college, and my roommate, he's, disappearing and this and the third.
So your roommates was
and it was all around me, and I was so oblivious to it until I asked the question, and then I realized, and I said, I'm gonna write that story. Because I've created all these characters. So we have Henry, who's the old school guy, who's 14 years old, who was able to get into Zanzibar and the garage and all that kind of stuff. And you have Michael, who's spoiled and pampered and all of that. So it surrounds the 5 guys.
Okay, I gotta wrap this up.
Yeah.
When does it come out?
It comes out this June for the ABFF, June 12th, American Black Film Festival.
When you hear the music, we are out of time. I'd like to thank my guest, Tai Chunn, for sharing his industry knowledge with us today. And as always, before I go, I'd like to leave you with a few thoughts. I want you to remember that you can't change the game until you first learn the game. Always surround yourself with positive people and positive things. And lastly, do what you love and love what you do. Thanks for watching Model Behavior. My name is Sharon Quinn, and I'll see you next week. Class is dismissed. Bye, y'all.